Okay, guys. So welcome officially. I know that there are a lot of people who are probably gone. I'm just recording it only for the people who are gone because they're missing first day stuff. So that being said, if you'll do me a favor and just ignore it, and it's really just going to be for people who weren't here. So I always like getting started with a funny story. So, first of all, welcome officially. My name is Mrs. Coates, and that's where the funny story comes in, because there's a bunch of weird things that you are welcome to call me. So once upon a time, in a land far, far away, not that far away, but I had gone on vacation to Mexico a lot of years ago, and I was making dinner reservations, and the guy who was taking my reservation was typing my information in the computer, and he was asking me all sorts of questions, and he says, "What's your last name?" And I said, "Coates." And he goes, "Wait, do you mean Coates?" And I was all kinds of confused, and he could tell, and he goes, okay, so you're in Mexico, and we speak Spanish, and in Mexico, it's pronounced Coates, and it means homie. And I was like, wait, do you mean, like, you'll put up homie, like that kind of homie? And he said, yes. And I was super excited, and probably freaked him out with my enthusiasm. But I am what I like to call a self-proclaimed nerd. And all of a sudden, just because my last name, I felt a little bit cooler than I was. So here's the deal. You're welcome to call me Mrs. Coates or Miss Coates. I don't care either one. You can also, hold on, you can call me, the weirdest one is Mrs. Coates. And if you're going to do the Spanish version, like just because it's middle school and just because we can, you have to do something weird with your face, like this. Coates. Did you see those fancy eyebrows? You can also call me Mrs. Homie. Not very many kids do, but that's one of my personal favorites. And then, sorry, homie in Spanish.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Coates means.
Yeah.
But that's not all. So about 10 years ago, I had a girl named Leah, and she was like, wait, so it's coats, like a coat that you wear? I was like, yeah, technically. And she said, what about, can I call you like Mrs. Sweater Vest? And I thought she was joking. And then she totally did. She called me Mrs. Sweater Vest for the entire, like, half year that I had her. Just making sure, you know it's second period right now, right? And not.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. It's such a weird, do you want to grab another one for the bell schedule? Because aren't you in my third period grade writing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now it's second period. So who is your normal second period teacher?
I don't take second period.
Okay.
I just start at third.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So right now, all of second period is either like in this weird long time while the rest of the school is in a musical.
Got it.
So you might want to just go hang out with Eva.
Okay.
Did you get to see the musical? No, you're fine. I gotcha.
Right.
Then it's all kinds of messed up. I totally understand.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, that's what I would do if I were you.
Yeah, I would.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah, you're totally fine. It's just because there's an assembly. So just hang out with Eva. You can talk to
I'm
her.
gonna call her Mrs. Holmes.
Okay, so there was that one girl who called me Mrs. Sweater Vest. And then like 2 years after that, there's this one kid, he's like, wait, could I call you like Mrs. Rain Poncho? And I said, sure. Again, not thinking that he would, and he totally did, just the 3 years that I knew him. So really, hey, you with the face, there's always a kid who accidentally calls me mom. Like, I'll respond to anything, okay? So that being said, I'm gonna, well, maybe not that. I'm gonna bribe you a little bit.
Crazy, bro.
So listen to the bribery, everybody.
That's crazy. You said that.
So I'm going to introduce you, and you sit in your spot, okay? I'm going to introduce you to the vault. So the vault is full of all kinds of bribery for kids who don't shout out in my class. So I'm going to straight up bribe you that if you will not shout out, and I'm not going to just give this to you to be nice, you actually have to earn it. But the vault is full of about $300 worth of candy. This is something else we're going to do in just a second. And you'll also see I've got my big candy bowl back there. So I also am going to give a bunch of coins as well. But again, I'll be looking out for people who are ignoring their neighbors, actually listening, and not shouting out. That's how you're going to earn a bunch of rewards today. So the one thing we have to do really quick, we only have to do it once, but just, you know, there's always like a William that goes by Will, stuff like that. So I'm just going to write that stuff down so that you don't have to tell me 40 times. So Griffith, do you go by Griffith? Griffith? Griff. And then do you just spell it G-I-G-R-I-F-F? Okay, got it. Okay.
Wow, Luke.
And then does Mackenzie go by Mackenzie, or does she go by Kenzie or something like that?
Kenzie.
Sometimes she likes to be called Kiki.
Okay. And then, okay. Kaden, you go by Kaden. Dexter, you go by Dexter. And then Emma and Elsa go by Emma. Okay. Miles, you go by Miles. And Ashley, you go by Ashley. And Samuel, do you go by Sam?
His name's
Sam.
He goes by
Nice try.
Slim.
Does Kennedy go by Kennedy? Okay. And then Jude, you go by Jude. And then Isabel, do you go by Izzy? Anything like that? Izzy? And then, because I've had all sorts of kids spell all sorts of ways. I-Z-Z-Y. And then Bridget, you go by Bridget. Okay. And then Sarah's not here, but Sarah goes by Sarah. Okay. And Kaden, you go by Kaden. Okay. Pierce, you go by Pierce. Okay. And Sophia, you go by Sophia. Cool. Michael, do you go by Mike or anything like that? Go by Mike. Michael, did you say? Okay. And then Charlotte is not here, but she go by Charlotte. Okay. And Sawyer, you go by Sawyer. And Cecilia's not here, but she goes by Cecilia. Okay. Luke, you go by Luke. And is it Presley? Does she go by Presley?
Yeah.
Okay. Almost done. We only have to do this once. Lucas, do you go by Luke or anything
Yeah,
like
I
that?
go by Luke.
Luke. Okay. And then Elise, do you go by
It's
Elise?
Elsie.
Elsie. Oh, I'm sure you're so annoyed by that everybody gets that wrong. I'm so sorry. Theodore, do you go by anything else?
Theo.
Theo, just T-H-E-O.
Yeah.
Got it. Emily, you go by Emily. And Tristan's not here, but Tristan goes by Tristan. Tristan, okay. And then Lily, you go by Lily. And Mary by Mary. And Riley by Riley.
No,
Rio.
So it's Rio, not Rio.
No, it's Rio.
What do you actually
Rio.
prefer?
Rio.
Riley.
No,
You
Okay. So, next thing on my list is a fun video. So, we have fun videos in my class for two really important purposes. Number one, it's when I officially take the role without you having to sit there being bored. And number two, starting on like Wednesday, we'll start using Chromebooks all day, every day. And so that's when you would normally be getting signed in. We're not going to use them yet, but most days will be a lot of Chromebooks. So for right now, you just get to sit and relax and enjoy. Our fun video is one of my favorite comedians. His name's Brian Regan. And this is him on messing up people's names like I just did to some of you. And so I'm sorry. And I'm going to officially take the role. Okay, right here. Somebody like put really, really not talented animation with the comedy, but it's the comedy that's, yeah, meant to be funny. Okay.
Can't remember names. I'm always trying to do the nickname thing to get out of it. Everybody knows what you're trying to pull, you know? Hey, Buckaroo. My name's not Buckaroo. Sure it is, partner. Some people get really upset if you get their name wrong, especially if they have a name that's similar to another name. Carolyn and Caroline. They gotta think about that, man. Don't get that wrong, because they're gonna drill you. Hi, Carolyn. It's Caroline. It's Caroline, Brian. It's Brian. Yes, my name is Brian. Very hard to say my name correctly, because my name is Brian. Can you say that? Very few can. Correct.
Okay, hi guys. Next thing, we're just gonna do a bunch of little stuff today. So the next thing on my list is just to tell you like what my class actually is. So obviously I'm the creative writing portion of the wheel, and guess what we do in creative writing? We creatively write stuff, right? Shocking that we would creatively write stuff. So a couple of things that like kind of kids wonder. Remember, you're not shouting out so that I can give you. Sorry. Okay. So there's kind of two things we do. Number one, I try and have you try as many different types of fun writing as we possibly can. And I really do mean it. So I've taught this class 4 times a year for the past like 8 years, which is a lot. Which means there used to be a bunch of stuff that we did that we don't do anymore because kids tell me they didn't like it. So what you're left with is all the stuff that most kids said they actually liked. So my class is truly about taking the pressure off of you when you're writing, right? Because when you're writing in other places in school, a lot of it is really serious, and that writing is important. But for us, literally the point is to have fun with writing. So it does not mean you're going to love every single thing, because that's just kind of impossible in a big class, right? But I do my best to make it as fun as I can all the time. And if not, at least there's like weird stuff like ducks and candy and fun videos. So hopefully that helps. I also, if you see this exploratory arts, it used to be called exploratory arts. They changed it to wheel, but I didn't want to change the poster. So anyways, I'll teach you all sorts of different writing tricks and tips to make you a better writer. I also sometimes will be on just like one day little practices that we'll do in class. Every once in a while we'll have a slightly larger project, but even on the bigger projects, I'm going to give you time to do it during class. Sometimes we'll have what's called Free Write Friday, where you literally get to write about anything that you want. You really will leave my class a better writer. I have kids take a survey at the end, and I'm like, do you feel like you became a better writer? Everybody says yes, which is cool. And we did it in a weird kind of way. And then the other things that kids usually wonder at the beginning, there's no homework in my class, only because it's an elective, and I don't want to take over your time for any of your other core classes. And we don't have traditional tests in this class, so when you're used to like sitting down, pencil to paper, right? Instead, my class is what's called a project-based assessment, where you're gonna still become a better writer, but you won't even realize that I'm testing you, because I'm testing you like while we're doing weird, funny projects. So everybody usually gets an A in my class. You kind of have to try to fail. It's really easy to get an A in my class. Questions about my class specifically?
Is there any like projects that you're with a partner?
Yeah. Usually it's depending on behavior. So far we're doing good, but the more that you actually do what's asked, the more I let you work with partners. So far this year, we've had just constant partner work. It really just depends on how we do. And so far we're doing great. So, say again.
Was Nolan Fry in your class?
Nope. So by the end of the year, I usually end up having all of the 6th graders, but not yet. Okay, so the next thing on our list of stuff to do is, I'm just gonna help you get to know me a little bit. So this is like Mrs. Coach show and tell. If you will do me a favor and resist the urge to tell me your own story yet, because I'm definitely gonna get to know you, but hold off only because the faster I can go, the less bored you'll be, and you guys, because second period is really weird today, and because it's such a long second period, I'm gonna take as little time on this as possible, and then I'm gonna let you have like a board game day for the last part, because all the other classes today are 38 minutes, and you're with me in this second period specifically for 85, so I'm gonna take as little of that time as possible and give you some fun time, okay? So I just kind of have little show and tell you stuff, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll be like, okay, I can handle this class, this is okay, and you'll feel more comfortable with me. So the first thing is to represent my first name. It's not a secret. My first name's Emma. We're not allowed to let you call us by our first names, so there's all the other weird stuff, right? It's just kind of one of those unofficial school things, but yeah. Okay, so next one's Emma, like Eminem. This is my husband, his name is Wade. I'm old, you guys. I turn 35 on March 2nd. So I've been married for a while. I think we're on our 13th. Like, it's like so long I can't even remember. But that's my husband, he works for Amazon. And I would say the biggest thing about Wade is he really loves playing pranks on me. And I am super gullible, so that's fun. Next thing is... yeah. I'm a big Harry Potter nerd, and there's a really specific reason for that. So when I was 11, the first book came out. And in the first book, they're 11. When I was 12, the second book came out. And they're all 12 in the second book. So I literally grew up with the Harry Potter books. So I know it's weird to be an adult and like Harry Potter. But here's the good thing. I'll like you no matter what. You don't have to like anything that I like. I do run the school's Hogwarts Academy because it just makes me happy to be surrounded by fellow nerds, but that's about it. Okay, this is a fun one. This is a bug vacuum, and it's to represent a very specific thing. So I have this weird relationship with spiders. On one hand, I'm fascinated. I want to know what kind they are, how big they are, how poisonous, right? On the other hand, when I was in college and I had kind of a not so great college apartment, I woke up one morning with a big black jumping spider crawling across my face, and it started like this war with spiders. And so this is great because you don't have to get that close. And then you can suck it into this little viewing area and then trap it in there and then like look at it without it biting your face and then release it into the garden. So yeah, it's just a weird little factoid. This is to represent, I am sorry in advance. I am a naturally hyper person and I talk too fast. And then I also drink coffee in the morning and then that makes me a little extra hyper. So usually when I'm talking, I'm trying to be like, slow down, give them a chance to think, calm down. So I apologize in advance. That one I'll delete for a second. Okay, this is to just represent, I'm mostly Italian. I've got a little, just like most people, I've got a little other stuff in there. But my family is super Italian, and we fit all the Italian stereotypes. Pasta, we talk with our hands, loud, all that stuff. This is a joke gift that somebody gave me one time. It's called the Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook. And I use this one to represent that I'm a human, just like you. I have 3 big fears, and they're not a secret, just so that you know that you're being taught by not a robot. So my first fear, I blame Shark Week. I'm totally freaked out by sharks, and I accidentally swam with one time, and it was terrifying. Number 2, I cannot handle, and this is a weird one, buildings that are more than 1 level. So I actually really love Albion for that. That were just most of the school. There is a couple of parts of the school that has 2 levels, but my house, remember the earthquake way back when, right? My house, I live about 30 minutes that way. So my house was way closer to the epicenter. So the morning of the earthquake, my house shook hard enough that there's a little bit of damage on my house. Like not like it fell down kind of damage, but like you can see a couple cracks and stuff. So that freaks me out. And then my last fear is basements. You would be surprised how fast I can run. When I'm in a dark, creepy basement by myself, I can get some speed going. This is to represent, so I basically spend all my money on 2 things. I have a bunch of pets, I'll show you my pets in a second. And then I really love traveling. I go everywhere I can as much as I can. So my favorite kind of thing I've ever got to do is called a study abroad, where you go live in another country and you get to take college classes. And I got to live in London for 5 weeks, and it changed my life. It was really awesome. This has a funny story with it. So speaking of being a tourist, the last time I went to Disneyland is the last time I will ever go. I was in 7th grade. I can't ever go again because it was unforgettable for a sad reason. So when I was in 7th grade, it was 2001. And that's when the 9/11 terrorist attacks happened. So my family always went on really boring vacations, but this is the one time we went on a cool vacation. We had saved up for forever, and then the 9/11 terrorist attacks happened, and most people canceled trips. We couldn't go, otherwise we would have lost all the money. So it was weird. There were like members of the army in the airport with big AK-47s. Like it was a really weird time to travel, and Disneyland was almost empty. Really and truly. It was super weird, but amazing at the same time. So I remember like on the Indiana Jones ride, we would go and come back, and they'd just say like, there's nobody else in line, do you just want to go again? We seriously went 12 times in a row before somebody else got in line. It was crazy. So I got really obsessed with getting every single character's signature, because it wasn't hard to do. And I always show, if I can find it, I always show the Cinderella one. Yeah, right here. Because I think I freaked her out. I saw her off in the distance and was like, target acquired, and chased her down. I was a little nerdy 7th grader, so I didn't realize how weird I was, and I was like, sign my book! And she was like, okay, right? But you could tell I freaked her out. But I love being an annoying tourist. And the last thing, if I can find it, on being an annoying tourist, oh, here it is. This is my 6th little album full of these squished pennies. Everywhere I go, I collect those. You guys seen those little squished penny machines?
Yeah.
You're doing so good, you guys, keep it up. This is to represent my lack of coordination. So I really, I wish I was better, but I kind of stink at all sports. The one thing I'm good at, and I don't know if it qualifies as a real sport, but I have an air hockey table in my basement, and I can beat almost anybody. So that's like my one thing that I'm
I
okay
could
at.
beat you.
I don't know, maybe.
I could.
So I will never put you through the agony of listening to me sing, because I'm not a good singer, but it's how I enjoy music. I have a karaoke machine in my basement, and sometimes I'll go jam out. No. I don't want to make you cry on the first day. All sorts. Okay. So raise your hand if you know where the Tracy Aviary is. It's like a bird zoo, basically. So I grew up right downtown. Liberty Park, which is where the Tracy Aviary is, that was basically my backyard. So I went to, it's called West High School. It's right downtown by the Gateway. And then, I super love the rivalry, but I bleed red because I graduated from the U, and here's proof that, you know, I'm just not some crazy person. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's all official and stuff.
So you like Utah, not BYU?
I love the rivalry though. Like I have my best friend super obsessed with BYU, and that it's just.
I don't like your best friend.
Okay, it's not like it's a big deal to like movies. That's a normal thing. But this is my favorite. If you haven't seen Lean Bada Zoo, it's funny. There's animals. I'm a big animal lover, and it's got a cute love story. I counted one time. I have 959 DVDs, so that's a big thing. I watch a lot of movies. This is to represent, I am sorry in advance that my class is colder than most of the other classes. There's a really specific reason for that. So my class used to be one of those computer labs where there were like desktop computers on every single table, and then COVID happened and they took them all away. But what happened in the meantime, those computers used to put off a lot of heat. So there would be some days where my class was unbearably hot, like to a point where it was unhealthy. So they finally routed my own special air conditioner to this classroom specifically. No one else has that. And then COVID happened and then they took away the computers. So my class does get a little colder than all the other ones. So there's usually at least one kid who will take me up on this, but especially since you have me in winter, if you want to store like a Snuggie or a blanket, or you always want to keep like, I don't know, a sweatshirt in one of my cupboards, we'll find room for you, or just feel welcome to just bring whatever to keep yourself comfortable. But it is usually cold.
I'm gonna weigh my stuffed animals.
You say it joking, but I had a girl one year who did that.
No, I'm actually gonna bring my
I had a
stuffed
kid, his
animals.
name's Brooks. Brooks did that. He like brought his own menagerie, his own zoo of animals, and it just surrounded his Chromebook. It was
You
awesome.
probably also brought those cardboard like houses.
No. Okay, this is to represent, so in high school they make you learn a language, and I wish somebody had said, Emma, learn a language you will use, but nobody said that. So I wish I'd taken Spanish, I would have used it all the time, but instead I took sign language just because it was fun. So here's my favorite signs, I'm going to teach you something, ready? Go like this.
This one's mine.
Go like this. That means bacon. Isn't that great? Bacon. Okay, go like this. And then wiggle them kind of in a random way. This means noodles. So bacon and noodles. You can say something you can say you learned something today. Okay, so this is a big deal. So I am one of those like gigantic book nerds, but I don't care if you are. I'm gonna like you no matter what. So if you hate reading, no judgment at all. But I met my personal best last year. I read 126 books in 2023. So if you ever need a good book suggestion, most people end up asking, so it's not a secret. So that's what my tattoo is of. This is books turning into birds, because I think books take you places, so it's kind of nerdy. But I don't care, because I'm old. That's one of the beautiful things about getting old. You just be whoever you want. You kind of stop caring what other people think about you, so it's kind of beautiful. Okay, this is to represent that I love fishing. It's a salt shaker, but it's just to represent. So I'm not good at it. The last fish I caught, I felt like a baby murderer. It was this big, so I'm not good at it, but the whole experience of fishing last summer is just like calming to me. It makes me happy. Okay, speaking of getting old, okay, this is important because it will affect you in my class. When I'm not wearing my contacts at night, I wear these horrendously, embarrassingly thick glasses. You've heard the phrase 4 eyes? My husband calls me 6 eyes just because he thinks he's funny, and he is. So when I was 8, I had major surgery on both of my eyes because I was going to go blind otherwise. So it was the kind of surgery, they literally had to cut my eye open, and then they took the stuff in the middle of your eye and replaced it, and then they had to sew it back. So I had stitches on my eyeball. It was not fun. But ever since, I can see. Kept me from going blind, but I can't see perfectly. Most people can see 20/20 once they have contacts or glasses. I can't. So I can totally see, but you're gonna write stuff in my class, and sometimes you're gonna be like, this is awesome, I wanna have her read it. So on those days, just so you know, I have to take your Chromebook from you because I have to hold it this close before I can see. So fair warning, I'm not trying to be rude by grabbing your Chromebook. The other thing I have to warn you, I probably have to get hearing aids in about 2 years, because again, I'm getting a little bit older. And so it's kind of genetic. My mom wears hearing aids. I'm gonna have to eventually. So if you see me do like this kind of a thing, it means I can't hear you. And I'm tall, and sometimes 6th graders are short, so I'm trying to get closer to you. I'm not trying to make you feel awkward, right? Also, there
You
have
can't
been
meet. I'm not
sometimes.
that short. I grew.
There have been some times where I have to 4 times. Huh? What? Can you say it one more time? Okay, one more time. And it makes me feel really guilty, but it's a legit thing. Okay. This is to represent my lack of musical talent. I have tried to play all sorts of musical instruments. Currently, I'm trying to learn guitar. And the thing I love most about this is that this dude woke up this morning of this photo shoot and said, yes, this is the turtleneck that I will be remembered by. Like, what? That's really what you chose? It just makes me laugh. Almost there, almost there. So, next thing. Friday is always going to be a weird day because I have a pretty weird earring collection. For example, no one in their right mind needs gigantic lemon earrings, but I found them at a yard sale for $1. Yeah.
I have lemon earrings.
Oh my gosh, we could be 11 earring twins. So there's a thing in my class, you don't have to participate ever if you don't want to, but every Friday I wear one of my weird earrings, and you are welcome to participate. I know not everybody has their ears pierced, but like sometimes I'll have somebody who like wears funny shoes or they wear a funny hat. So it's called Fun Accessory Friday. Feel free to play along if you want. And this one
She never said you could eat her.
is to represent my favorite holiday. So I know this doesn't look like much, but when I was 7, I know. Oh my goodness, it's glorious of it. But my mom made this by hand, which maybe doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. To make a dress takes a lot of time. So I was Emma the Blue Rose Princess, and I won a costume contest. When you're 7, that's the biggest thing ever, right? And I won a whole bag of Milky Ways, and then it started my obsession with Halloween. So I super love Halloween. Got a couple things left. Let's do this one next. So this one involves a picture. Oh, there's a reason that this poor bear has been murdered. And that reason is called my dog Duke. Now, hold on, just wait. So I know that this is an embarrassing amount of cats. Here's the reason I have so many cats. So first of all, I have no kids of my own. And second of all, the place where I live used to be farmland. So there's a lot of homeless cats kind of in my area. And I have a big house and extra money and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna help these poor starving. So there's little funny stories. So we'll start with Duke. Duke's from the Humane Society. Duke is adorable, and I say this with love, but Duke is a dummy. Duke will like for real run into the wall and then look at the wall like, why did you do that? So Duke is also my stuffed animal murderer. We go to the to DI, and you can get, for 25 cents, and then he systematically murders them and then takes out the stuffing and makes it snow in our living room. Penny, I know this looks like a black hole. It's a cat, I promise. My favorite thing about Penny, and I say this again with love, she's so fat that when she walks, her belly will swing from side to side, and it is so entertaining. Okay, my favorite thing about Dwight. Dwight is our gentle giant. He's huge. And Dwight will do this funny thing where he will basically announce himself when he walks in the room. It literally sounds like this. You'll see his little head pop around the corner and he'll go, "Meow, meow, meow." It's adorable. Luce, my favorite thing about Luce, he has trained us as his lowly servants that if he wants to eat, which is many times a day because he's also fat, Luce will stand on the tower where his food bowl is and then stare at us until we come and eat with him. And it's creepy, right? But yeah, so that's okay. Neville is my newest cat. I got Neville in November. So Neville was given to me by a student. Nobody else can give me a cat. I have too many, okay? Okay.
I'll give you
But
a dog.
this one student who I taught for a bunch of years,
Charlie?
she does the same thing as me, and she tries to help cats in her neighborhood that are starving and homeless. And Neville was a half-pound little kitten who had been abandoned by his mom. So she brought him in one day after school, and I am a sucker and could not say, look how cute he is! Like, I can't say no to that face! So my favorite thing about Neville, one morning I was going to eat a donut that I was very excited about because it was my favorite donut. And I put it on the counter, and then I was doing something, and then I looked back, and the donut was gone. And I thought it was Wade pranking me, my husband. And then I was like, wait, but he's not around. And then off in the corner, I see Neville, who was this big, had taken the entire donut in his mouth, like a hunter, like a donut hunter, ran away. I don't even know how he could have moved. It's like as big as he is, and was frantically taking little bites out of the donut. It was amazing. And it's okay, because it wasn't chocolate. Okay, we're almost there. Zeus, my favorite story about Zeus, because he is crazy. Zeus, so catnip, right? Cats like catnip. And we'll put catnip out on the floor, and Zeus is like, ah, and he is so fluffy that he like wiggles down into the catnip, and all of his hair sucks it up, and then he runs around the house like a psychopath, sprinkling catnip dust all around the house. Okay, Daisy. Daisy is, other than Neville, the smallest, but she is the meanest. She's so cute, but Daisy knows that she's in charge. So for example, just to remind everybody that they are beneath her, Daisy will consistently walk up to Duke and basically slap him in the face, look him in the eye, and then walk away. Like, yeah, that's right, dog. Don't come at me, bro. Right, like that kind of thing. Okay, so that's my little family. I know it's weird. 2 more things, and then rewards are coming because you're doing a beautiful job. This one has a story involved. So, I truly am a klutz. My most recent, like, here's how I broke myself story. New Year's morning, I got up in the morning to go let Duke outside to go to the restroom. And if this had been recorded, I would be famous for this fail video, but I was trying to go downstairs, and I just hit the stair wrong, and this is not even the story. I basically went into the splits while falling down the stairs. Yeah, it was bad. So I sprained my hip and my knee and my ankle, and it's only been recently that I stopped walking with a crutch. It's bad, you guys. So here's the deal. If we're in class and I do something klutzy, just laugh at me, because I know I'm a klutz. It's not a secret. If I'm on the floor dying, please somebody get help. Otherwise, just laugh at me. So here's this story. So this one
I'm still gonna laugh at you when you're lying on the floor.
some proof, obviously. So when I was in 7th grade, my 7th grade was really weird. It was inside of a high school. So we had our own 7th grade classes, but we went to the lunchroom with 12th graders. We went to assemblies with big high school kids, right? Just so you know, you have Kleenexes right in front of you. So just heads up, I know, right? It's a new classroom. So one year the principal took pity on the 7th graders. He was like, you know what, these poor little 7th graders have to deal with gigantic high school kids. So he paid for us all to go to classic skating. And it was awesome because he got to miss school, which is always great. So let me set the scene for you, okay? Lights are dim. 150 middle schoolers are losing their minds at classic skating. The disco ball is spinning. Britney Spears was playing because it was a billion years ago, and Britney Spears was really popular at the time. And I was on a mission because I, as a 7th grade girl, was like, boys, right? And I was crazy. And there was this kid named Joe that I had a crush on, and I was determined that this would be the day that Joe ended up liking me back. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. So I see Joe, and I'm like, target acquired, right? And I start skating up on Joe, and Joe has no idea that I'm basically stalking him like a weirdo. And I come up behind him, and this is true, I don't know why, but I can skate better backwards than I can forward. So I did this cool flip around thing, and in my mind, I was like, that's the coolest thing anyone has ever done. But Joe just looked freaked out, like, why? Hi, why are you in front of me all of a sudden, right? And then I was trying to talk to him, and I was trying to chew gum and breathe and skate all at the same time. Too many things all at once, my brain short-circuited, and I fell, which is not what I wanted to do. And Joe had to kind of hop over me, and then he just skated away. And I was like, really? You're just gonna abandon me? Okay, you're dead to me. And that was the end of me and Joe. That was it. So I was on the floor freaking out because my arm really hurt. And one of the moms who was chaperoning, she comes running over, helps me get off, and they're trying to decide whether or not to take me to the hospital. And in the meantime, this is what Joe had done. It was for a reason that he abandoned me. In Joe's 7th grade boy mind, he thought, donuts. Donuts will fix everything. So Joe had gone over to buy me a donut and came back and was trying to force feed it to me because I think he thought it would heal me magically. And I was like, I don't care, go away. And that was really the end of me and Joe. So they took me to the hospital, they took x-rays, they said it's not broken, and I was like, are you sure? Because it sure feels broken. And they're like, yeah, you're fine, go home. And then the next day at school was the school musical tryout, and they had us sing and act and dance. And during the dancing portion, we were doing cartwheels. And every cartwheel was like, ha, ow, right? So I get home, and I'm all kinds of prepared to tell my mom, I gotta go back, this is not right. And she beat me to it, she opened the door and said, guess what? They read your x-ray wrong. It's broken, let's go get a cast on. And that's actually happened to me twice in my life, that they told me it's not broken, and it was. So I had this dumb cast on for, the normal amount of time, 6 weeks. How many of you have had a cast? So apparently nowadays, I've heard that casts are waterproof, which is cool, but this is, some of them maybe
They
not.
have brakes. So they just
Back in the age of dinosaurs, when I was in 7th grade,
Dinosaurs!
they weren't waterproof. And so, by the end of it, right, this is on your arm for that much time, you kind of hate your cast, right? Because it's itchy, and you can't itch. And number 2, it gets smelly by the end. And number 3, you just can't do anything fun. So for example, it was about 2 days before I was supposed to get the cast off, and my mom had taken us on vacation, but it wasn't a cool vacation. We we went up to Park City, and she rented a hotel room so that we could have unlimited access to a swimming pool. But I couldn't. I had the stupid cast on, and so I had to sit, like, I'll say that on the side. My siblings were having a great time in the pool, and I couldn't. So then I started thinking, if I'm getting the cast off in 2 days, why can't I just take it off myself? And so it was like one of those light bulb moments. So it took a couple hours. It started out down here, and it just took a lot of really kind of pushing, right? I got it all the way up to the tips of my fingers, and I was like, it is on. I'm gonna go swimming. So I took my arm, stuck it in between my legs, popped my own arm out of my cast. And you know that's true because the gross evidence is right there. And the doctor said, because my mom had to call and say, you don't actually have to saw her cast off because she just took it off herself. And he told her that it's the weirdest conversation he's ever had. But the moral of the story is you're being taught creative writing by a ninja who can take off her own cast. Yay! Okay, last thing. So I was given this certificate in 8th grade. There's a weird story. So it says, be it hereby known that Emma has been named most likely to design her own line of pajama pants. Here's why they gave me the certificate. In 8th grade, I decided that I was gonna try and be cool and not a big nerd. And all the cool kids in my school at that time were wearing pajama pants. And not just sometimes, like several times a week. And I decided, okay, if that's what all the cool kids are doing, I'm gonna go big, right? And I wore pajama pants, it's so weird, 185 days. That's how long there is in a school year. I wore pajama pants every single day. And I got known for it in a bad way, right? I wish somebody had kind of taken me to the side and said, this is a little bit strange, you might want to reconsider, but they didn't. So the reason I tell that story is because I am gonna like you no matter what. I have been a teacher for 13 years. Never had a kid I didn't like, legit. So I even have the math to prove it. I have the sticky note because I can't remember. I so far, in all of my 13 years of teaching, have taught about 3,000, that's a big difference, 3,788 students. That's a lot, right? Most of you, I know for a fact, because I saw some of your last names and also your older siblings and stuff were telling me, I know I've taught lots of your siblings. It's true. I like all of my students. And so, like I said, kind of at the beginning, you don't have to like anything that I like. You could be, anti-Harry Potter and I don't care at all. The point for me, my class is a safe zone. Everyone's just allowed to be who they are. And I've got your back. If you choose to break that treaty of this is a safe zone, then I just kick you out and you don't get to be in class with us. You can sit in the hall and do everything in the hall while we're having fun in here without you. Other than that, know that I kind of am on your team, right? I'm one person who will just let you be who you are, and you just get to know that you get to come here and be safe and have a good time. So, that being said, let me check my list to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I think we're just about done. Okay, does anybody well, first of all, let me ask, did we meet our goal here? Do you feel a little bit more comfortable with me? Okay. So tomorrow, I'm gonna help you feel more comfortable with the classroom itself. I'm gonna be a little bit evil and not tell you about the ducks yet, because I want it to be almost a little, I get to know about the ducks tomorrow, right? Or why is there a frog? Or why do you have a weird poster of a grandma? Why is there a hot dog? I'm gonna take the mystery out of the classroom tomorrow. And so then on Wednesday, then we can actually start doing stuff. But now you know me, tomorrow you'll know the classroom. I am gonna pause for a minute and give everybody a couple of coins. And also let everybody take a piece of candy, and then I'll explain how we'll do board games, but that's officially, does anybody, before I officially stop having you pay attention to me, anybody have any questions about me? Yes?
You said you were klutzy. Can we call you Mrs. Klutzy Coates?
Absolutely you can, because it's creative, yes.
Why do you like ducks?
I'm gonna, again, be evil and not tell you yet. That's gonna be for tomorrow, yes.
Why are you a teacher?
That's a fair question. So, you know what? I was in my second year of college at the U, and I had no idea what I wanted to be. And then I started thinking about what I wanted to do, and my first thought was, I just want something where I can read a lot. So, when I was first a teacher, I was an English teacher, and then they had to talk me. I should have. They had to talk me into teaching debate and creative writing, which I'm very glad that they did. But I kind of had this thought process of, I had a lot of really, really horrible middle school teachers. And kind of corny, but but I thought, you know what? I could do it better. I think I could make somebody else's middle school experience better than mine was, because mine was truly horrible. So that's why I'm a teacher. Yeah.
What is your favorite type of food?
I am a big fan of Mexican food. Like Red Iguana downtown is the best Mexican restaurant of all time, in my opinion, and I super love Mexican food. Yeah.
Who's your best student in your debate class?
So, it's a very debatable thing to pick who's your best. Best is very, I don't know. There's, like, my team this year is too good. Did you guys see the trophy case when you walked down in here?
in it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I know a lot of your siblings. There's just too many. I like all of them. Yeah.
What's your favorite sport?
Favorite sport, to watch or to play?
Air hockey.
Watch or to play?
Either.
To watch, football, but mostly just because I use it as an excuse to eat junk food. So like, I'm very excited for the Super Bowl. To play, air hockey, and also I have, you know when you're at the arcade and there's that basketball game? And it's not real basketball, obviously, but I have one of those in my house, and I really like that. So it's a sport. We'll count it. Any others, and then we'll be done. Yeah.
Did you have Isaac Hansen or Ellen Hansen?
I think I had both of them there.
Do you have Ty Baker?
Because like I said, I've been here. This is my 12th year here, and then I taught elsewhere before I taught here. Yeah.
Did you have Mia?
Yeah.
Did you have Ty Baker?
Yes.
Did you have
Elise Morrison?
Yes. Recently too. Yeah.
Jack Zobel?
Yes. Oh my gosh. See, this is bringing back such good memories. Yeah.
Elisa or Austin Erwin?
I don't know on that one. Sometimes it's been a long time too, right? So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Calvin and Molly?
Of course. Total, and I could recognize it in your face. And aren't you Bridger's little brother?
Yeah. Oh.
See, and I can just see it in your face. Yeah.
Yeah, from Ellie and Jack Hansen.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So before we start breaking up board games and stuff, everybody come line up, and everybody gets a piece of candy. You can totally eat it right now. And so pick the one you like. The ones that you can have two of are the small Tootsie Rolls. Everything else is one. Okay.
Little Joe? What the?
Either way, doesn't matter.
Oh, what's up?
One of my so the little ones I get.
Yeah, I know. No, really.
And then they make the right. They migrate.
Whoa, that's a lot. Like, go like this.
We kind of take a little mini break, right? Did I stop it? Somebody
No.
Just press the stop button. 'Cause